2, 3, 4. Grandma got run over by a reindeer, stumbling home drunk on Christmas Eve. Now you can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Charlie, we believe. Yeehaw! Merry Christmas, everybody! It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, December 23rd, 2018. I don't see what the problem is. Reed has the perfect alibi. There is documented musical evidence of grandmothers getting run over by reindeers. Oh, do you think maybe Devon could give me a music recording contract? I think that little song deserves to be re-sung, rewritten, and put onto iTunes. Well, you feel free to keep that one, Y&R Chatters, as my gift to you. Oh, what a week, and what a wonderful Christmas tale we are being told for the young and the restless. Charlie, who is young, is just having his teen heart broken for the first time by Shauna. She tossed the whole long-distance relationship that they vowed to have right out the window about 2 weeks after leaving Genoa City. That seems awfully abrupt. But to drown his little teen sorrows, young Charlie decides to throw back a couple of beers. He wants to drive to a party to also forget his troubles, but Reed is there, and Reed, who already has a suspended license for teen drunk driving, offers to drive his friend instead in a snowstorm, through a snowstorm. This is a great idea. What could go wrong? Well, meanwhile, Nikki, who is restless, is at the Jabot Christmas party. She has gone from glass to flask. She is throwing back swigs of who knows what vodka all night long. She wanders out into the street and kaplowy. 2 buzzed residents of Genoa City, one young, one restless, come head to head in the middle of the street. And there you have it, our week in Y&R. Reed and Charlie just decide to stay in the car. They don't get out. They don't look to find out what it was that they hit. They just decide to move on. They apparently thought that they just hit an animal. Yeah, a party animal. Oh, what a lot of mistakes. What a lot of mistakes. Well, as the news of Nikki's accident spreads to the family, Reed realizes that it was no animal that he hit. It was indeed his grandmother. He was responsible for driving the car that hit his grandmother, put her in the hospital. She's on her deathbed. And of course, Reed has an instinct wanting to confess to what he's done, but we have Charlie over here in the background telling Reed that it's really better if he keeps quiet about the whole thing. After all, Charlie saw what happened to Lily earlier in the year when she confessed to a similar crime. So now Reed is keeping the secret. Nikki's dying in the hospital, and the guilt is eating this kid alive. I mean, he's an otherwise good kid. In his mind, he was offering to drive the car so that Charlie didn't drive drunk. How about both of you guys just go nowhere? That would have been a better idea. But now it's become such a huge mess. Reed thinks he is an awful, awful person. And Reed also has all of this anxiety and hang-up about his own father. And it's causing Reed to question what kind of person he is. He is on Friday sitting at Nikki's deathbed side, and he's to her that he was the one who did this to her, and that maybe if he could do something this awful, then maybe he is no better than his father. At the hospital, Nikki's toxicology reports have revealed that her blood alcohol level was unusually high when she was brought in from the accident. So now everyone realizes that she's been drinking again. All of Nikki's loved ones are holding vigil at the hospital, waiting for news from I Love Risky Surgery Nate Hastings. I wouldn't let that man anywhere near one of my loved ones. We know how much he loves risky surgery, but he is Nikki's primary physician. He is trying to give the Newmans the news of whether or not Nikki's gonna live or die, and at this point in the story, it's swinging toward she's gonna die. Everyone is there. All of Nikki's family, friends, loved ones, everyone is there except for Victor. Victor's still nowhere to be found. Love of his life, dying in a hospital room. He's nowhere. Ray is just circling around the hospital like a vulture, waiting for Victor to arrive, knowing that sooner or later he will arrive to be there for his wife. And when that happens, Ray is going to put Victor in handcuffs and haul him away for the murder of J.T. Hellstrom. Well, since we are an episode behind from all of the preemptions that we had earlier in the month, we saw our Friday preview sequence on Monday, and we saw Nikki having a dream, I'm assuming, that Victor is coming back to her, that he's standing there. So in my mind, it has been foretold that Victor will bring her back from the brink of death one way or another, whether it be in his physical presence or in a dream. So it's hard for me to be too concerned about it. I mean, even though there have been some great moments this week that this little accident has caused. Nick and Victoria sitting in the waiting room talking about the inevitability of their parents' death, and yet, you know, the dread of that happening. They're both terrified that their mother is going to die now. They are both fearful of what could have happened to Victor. Where is he? And Nick is aggressive toward Ray. I mean, there was so much interpersonal dynamic that was going on there in that hospital waiting room, but it's kind of hard for me to fully embrace the fear that Nikki is going to die, because I don't think she is gonna die. In fact, I'd say we're right on track for a Christmas miracle. And oh boy, did I pull off a Christmas miracle of my own. If you haven't already heard the news, I am hostessing a Y&R Chat year-end affair fundraiser event. It is a 3-hour-long video and podcast. We are going to be talking about all of the biggest and best and worst stories of 2018. We're going to be talking villains, love, romance, breakups, business, everything from 2018. Go to GenoaCitySoap.com for more info, or check your YouTube and your podcast streams for a little bit of a preview. It's going to be fabulous. In the video podcast, I also discuss my predictions for 2019, but one of the things that I did not accurately predict, I have to say, was the breaking news from this week that Mal Young, the executive producer and head writer of Y&R, is leaving the show. In fact, he's already left. This is huge. Huge news. And to be honest with you, I almost kind of had a suspicion that it might be happening, because I noticed I don't know, it was several months ago, that Josh Griffin's name started or is it Josh Griffin or Griffith? I'm not exactly sure, but his name started popping up in the opening credits, and I recognized him as having been a previous writer on the show, and I thought to myself, it's interesting that they would bring him on right now, and I wonder if he's going to end up taking over that position. Sure enough, Mal is out, and it looks like Josh might be in. So that's really juicy behind the scenes. I mean, what do we feel about this, Y&R Chatters? Mal Young was really only on the show for, I mean, not even 2 years, somewhere around 2 years. I think we need to make that our poll question for the week. You know, do you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing that Mal is out as our head writer? YRChat.com is the website. Let's get some conversation going around the direction of the writing for the show this week. I mean, do you like where Mal was taking it? Are you sad to hear that he's leaving, or do you feel like maybe this is a needed change? I mean, for my part, I think it's a hopeful change. Maybe we needed a fresh eye, and Josh, if he is going to be the one that's taking over, has been writing on soaps since the 80s. He's even written for Y&R before, and he was even the head writer before for a couple of years in the late 2000s. So if this guy is going to be our new guy, he does know what soap fans expect and what we want. I think he also wrote for General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. But he also was fired from Y&R, so that concerns me a little bit too. I'm just not sure what to think about this revolving door. Y&R should have a show that follows the behind-the-scenes drama that happens with this show. What is it that makes it so hard for any one person to stay in charge for very long? Y&R seems to have as many head writers these days as Jabot has CEOs. Speaking of Jabot, how about that Christmas party? I love it. What a treat. We got to see Lauren and Fenn singing a mother-son duet. That was amazing. And of course, we had like all of this schmoozing and canoodling, and I like it when the characters from different parts of the show come together for a party. It was wonderful. Billy was planning on just staying home from the Jabot Christmas party to watch movies and chill out on the couch, which almost sounds good to me. But Jack talked Victoria into dragging Billy to the party for his own good. And I think he ended up having a good time. I think he was happy to be with Victoria. Billy seems to be really bonding with Victoria right now. They were bonding over their child. Johnny's Christmas play was this week, and Billy was helping him to not be afraid to sing in front of the crowd. And Billy was also helping Victoria as she is going through this difficulty of her mother being in the hospital. And Victoria has been helping Billy in turn too. There was a scene this week that was notable of Billy getting a few things off his chest. He seems to be sticking to his story that he is going to just ride things out at Jabot. He's not after Phyllis. He's not trying to plan a coup. He's just going to be cool, do his job, and let good things come from that. I guess I'm going to have to take him at face value. He hasn't shown me any other signs of anything else, really. He also said that he's been staying away from gambling, that he did learn his lesson, so I don't know, maybe he is back on track. So Billy and Victoria end up showing up together at this party with that rekindled chemistry between them, and you could tell that Phyllis was a little shook about it when she saw them walk in together. But how great did she look in that green velvet pantsuit? Phyllis looked like the mayor of Oz in that green velvet pantsuit. But I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And, you know, she and Nick are doing their best to present their whole power couple vibe. But Nick did ask Phyllis if she was bothered to see Billy and Victoria walking into that party together. And Phyllis lied. Of course she lied and said everything was okay. But in reality, it's really just the same scenario as we had, a few weeks ago at the Jabotique launch party. We're just replacing Sharon with Victoria. It's just someone else on Billy's arm for Phyllis to be a little bit jealous about. I think that Phyllis wants Billy very badly, but she feels that she shouldn't have Billy. Which means that they'll be sleeping together again in a couple of weeks. Call me crazy. Because we also have the element of Phyllis feeling insecure about Nick's relationship with Sharon, as she should. Phyllis is the undisputed runner-up for Nick's affection. Nick wanted to go back to Sharon. He just kind of settled for whatever's going on with Phyllis. Not that it's not hot, not that they don't care about each other. They also share a family, but Nick wanted Sharon. I mean, ultimately, I feel that Phyllis may never go back to Billy, but Nick would go back to Sharon in a heartbeat if he could. Sharon stopped by the hospital to comfort Nick, bring him some food and some coffee, make sure that he's doing all right, gave him a hug, and Phyllis saw the whole thing, got a little bit paranoid about it. I don't blame her, got a little territorial about it. I don't blame her. Part of me, though, thinks that Sharon was just being friendly. Sharon's the one who refused to take Nick back. And frankly, I don't think that Sharon is really thinking about anyone right now except for Ray. The Rosales family Christmas party was such a breath of fresh Miami air. I loved it. I've never experienced a Christmas that's not cold, and even though it's not snowy where I am right now, there's still always a possibility of Christmas snow. That's just when you live in the northern climate. That's just part of your Christmas. And hearing the Rosales family talk about their Christmases in Miami in the past, having Christmas mass and then going to an after party at the beach with a bonfire and skinny dipping, wow. That might even possibly beat hanging stockings over the fireplace, or I don't know, it would be nice to have a best of both worlds. I mean, they both sound wonderful. Christmas on the beach? Do any of you really do that? Wow. Oh, I liked the whole vibe of the whole thing. It was very comfortable and very fun. But can you even believe that Ray's wife invited Ray's girlfriend to the party? And that Sharon went? How awkward. It was so clearly intended on Mia's part to show Sharon how happy she and Ray are together, that they are a unit and they are a family, and for Mia to mark her territory. But oh, as soon as that party was over, Ray ran right downstairs to Crimson Lights to give Sharon a Christmas gift, telling Mia that he was taking out the trash. Oh, we are dangerously entering into affair territory here. Y&R Chatters, straight up affair. I feel so naughty for thinking it's nice. I really do. I feel terrible, but I'm starting to think that Ray is really pretty hot. And the way that he and Sharon look at each other could roast a chestnut or two. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, he gives her this gift. And he tells her that even though he's with Mia, Sharon still means so much to him. Ooh, that language right there. Even though I'm with my wife, I still care about you, is what that's saying. That's that subtext there. Sharon's still very important to him. Well, if you're with your wife, you should be with your wife, and you shouldn't be giving Christmas presents to another woman. It's so shady and wrong. Oh. And then Sharon and Ray sort of fumble over each other's hands for a moment when she's trying to put the box back together. And that moment where their hands touched must have been so electric because he ran right upstairs and had sex with Mia. He was definitely having sex with his wife and thinking about another woman. Oh, that is so wrong. It is so wrong. And how humiliating for Mia. If she only knew. If she only knew. Mia's been fighting so hard to get her marriage back on track. And if she only knew that lovemaking had nothing to do with her and her cookies. Ray was thinking about Sharon's cookies. Oh my gosh. When Mia finds out that that's still going on, that Ray wasn't taking out the trash, her retaliation is going to be fierce. Does any woman really want a parka for Christmas? I was thinking there was going to be something fabulous inside of that gift box, and it was a parka. I mean, I know it's the thought that counts, and it was connected to this whole camping trip idea of Arturo's, but unless that coat is fur or leather, Arturo could have left it on the rack. Does he seriously think that he's going to convince Abby to go camping in that thing? Does he even know her? The closest thing that Abby has ever been to camping is going up to the Abbott cabin, and that's not exactly roughing it when there's plumbing. I think Lola should have stepped in. I think Lola should have, since she picked out the coat, she should have talked to Arturo and 86 the whole camping idea altogether. But it was cute. It was cute. And Lola is a little preoccupied with her own love life these days. I love Lola and Kyle. I'm so glad that Lola's paranoia and jealousy went away. They are so cute. Kyle and Lola are like a bubbling pot of sexy stew that's just waiting to boil over. I just love them. They have so much chemistry, and I especially love Kyle right now. He just has this boyish charm and this way of taking a joke about himself. Like he does take himself seriously, but when it's time to not, he doesn't. It's so great. Jack razzing him about about how he dresses so preppy and what shoes he's wearing right before the Rosales family Christmas party. That was funny. Arturo and Ray rousing Kyle also at the party. This is the guy who's dating their little sister, so they're giving him a little bit of a hazing, and he handled it all with total humor and his really cute cheesy smile. This actor is a catch. He will be gone in a year. I am enjoying it while I can. And the whole recreating South Beach for a date with Lola. That was fun. Fun for a Christmas week on Y&R too. And it was original. And I was looking forward to seeing their beach date. But Lola fell asleep and accidentally missed this big elaborate surprise that Kyle had for her. But Kyle was worried about her, so he enlists Tessa and Tessa's guitar to go find Lola. Tessa and Kyle are standing beneath Lola's bedroom window playing Christmas music, like giving Lola a Christmas serenade, as if it was a Romeo and Juliet type situation. It doesn't get any cuter than that. I enjoyed it so much. I loved just how beautiful the scene looked with the camera looking down on Kyle and Tessa and Kyle standing there shivering in the cold. I loved the way Lola's face lit up when she saw him there. And I loved seeing the inside of Lola's bedroom. That was neat. It looked like a real bedroom. She had her little iPod dock on her bed stand. She had some pom-poms up, or what do you call them, garland up over the place. It was lovely. I'm glad we got to see her bedroom. And then I'm glad we got to see the things that didn't happen in her bedroom. Oh, that was a good scene. That feels real. That takes me back. I mean, really, as you get older, what reason is there to not go through with the sex unless you're, you know, an affair type situation. But, you know, if two people want each other and they're available and you're older, there's just no, you know, virginity. And once it's gone, virginity once it's gone is just out the window. But, you know, I sort of identified a little bit with that, you know, remembering the times where it's like, oh, we shouldn't, you know, I'm trying to be, you know, I'm trying to not go through this. I'm trying to not give in to my desires. So I thought that was a cute little scene. And I gotta hand it to a couple who can keep things intriguing for me as a viewer without going all the way. This, at the end of the day, we're just two people who enjoyed each other's company, and they decided to let that be enough. But I bet you that Y&R did not build that bedroom set for nothing. I think we'll see it again in the eventual consummation of that relationship. And the other thing that Y&R did that was on purpose, Y&R did not stick Tessa in that scene for nothing. Y&R is reminding us that Tessa too is a musician, because there's another musician in town that I bet already knows her. I know I said last week that it's kind of hard to get into two new characters on the show, like hooking up, but I'm really feeling Fen and Anna. I thought they were really great this week. Anna is trying to help Fen. He is pressuring Devon to listen to his music single, and Anna secretly listened to it, realized that the quality wasn't very good, offered to help him make a better demo, and Fen turned her down like an idiot. Why? Why on earth would you ever turn down an offer to make something better that could potentially lead to that demo getting into Devon's hands? The fact that he turned her down initially was absolutely surprising to me. I was happy to see him apologize to her, and then she decides to continue to help him, and they secretly lay down some tracks in Devon's studio to produce Fen's single. I have to say too, by the way, Anna is really beautiful. I really got a good look at her this week, and the range of emotions that she's showing on her face, she's really, really gorgeous. I think she's gonna be one to watch. I appreciated her helping Fen. I appreciated him coming around and changing his mind. And I was really surprised that when Devon found them in the studio recording this track, that Devon was so upset and so stern with her. He's really taking a hard line. What's the big deal if she wanted to use the studio and try to make a demo on her own? I mean, she did deceive him. She did intentionally get him out of the way so that she could do this on the sly. But why not just ask him? Why not say you're interested in producing? Anna never said anything like that. When she's been talking to Devon, she's mostly said, my dream is gone. I'm just going to do an admin job. And now we find out that she's actually interested in producing artists. So I don't know why she didn't confide in Devon about that. And I'm surprised that Devon was so upset with her when she did a little tinkering around in the studio. But he changed his tune pretty quick, didn't he? He turned around. He was very angry with Anna. And in the middle of the argument, she just goes and flips on the demo and lets Devon hear the whole thing. And man, Devon started singing a different tune, right? I guess if you got a hit, you've got a hit. And Devon turned it around and he took over the project. I felt bad because he booted Anna out of the way a little bit. He said, okay, well, fine. You may have found Fen. Thanks for everything you've done so far with this demo, but it's time for me to take over now. We're going to need a more experienced hand. Go get a contract for Fen. You can do that. You can bring him into this Hamilton Winters family. So Fen gets a contract out of the deal, and Anna got pushed to the side. I loved the moment where Fen's just standing back, not wanting to do anything to screw up his big chance, and through the glass of the recording booth, he just mouths to Anna, I'm sorry. She's the one that got him there, and now he's taking all the glory. And it really ramped up some empathy for me when it comes to Anna. I like her very much. I like that she's trying to prove herself. I like that she has a little bit of camaraderie going with Fen. I mean, she believed in him, she helped him, and I think she too will have her time soon to shine. The Margarita crew is now busy scrambling with worry that Nikki's accident was no accident. Maybe whoever is trying to frame Victor for JT's murder could have tried to kill her, and maybe they're gonna try to kill them next. Knowing that it was Reed makes it all the more ridiculous, right? But Sharon is completely spooked by the idea that someone could be one by one picking them all off. And Sharon doesn't want to be sitting at the cottage house now all alone at night in the dark. Sharon calls the person she always calls when she needs someone she can depend on. She calls Mariah. Mariah is so much more than a daughter. She's Sharon's support system. And even after the big blow up that Sharon and Mariah had last week and all of the disagreements between them, Mariah came. Last week I asked you guys in our poll question if Sharon should try to put a stop to Sharon or to Mariah and Tessa's relationship. It was a very close vote. I love it when the votes are very close. 51% said no, Sharon needs to back off. 49% of you said yes, Sharon needs to keep going and wake Mariah on up. But the majority rules here, majority of Y&R chatters feel that Sharon just needs to step back. And you know what? Okay, I accept that. Mariah is an adult. I think that's the key here. Mariah can and should make her own decisions about who she is seeing or anything else in her life. These are Mariah's mistakes to make. I think Sharon and I both think that she's making a mistake, but I think it's Mariah's choice. I also think that Mariah's greatest strength is her loyalty. And that cuts both ways. I think Mariah's loyalty is what's keeping her in a relationship with Tessa that I think she can do better than, frankly. And it's also Mariah's loyalty that brought her to rise above Sharon's threats against that relationship that Mariah feels is precious and feels is worthy. Mariah did hesitate to go to be with Sharon when she was afraid. It was Tessa who convinced Mariah to go to Sharon and comfort her and try to repair the relationship. I mean, Mariah is always there for the people in her life, and I think I'm just yearning to see more examples of people really being there for her. But ultimately, Sharon and Mariah come together. They do some making up. They try to pretend that everything's normal and they would just watch a movie and eat some popcorn. But there's also this rift between them. Sharon tells Mariah that she can't support her relationship with Tessa, is not going to pretend to. Sharon feels that she's seen Tessa's true colors and can't go back on that. And then, in turn, Mariah tells Sharon that she respectfully doesn't care. This is Mariah's life. It's Mariah's choice. And I say, all right then. Enough said. Mariah told me to butt out, and so that's what I'm going to do. First date, Thanksgiving. Second date, stood up. Third date, decorating a Christmas tree. Fourth date, Bora Bora? Is this moving a little fast? That's not normal. That is not a normal progression. You don't go from Christmas tree to Bora Bora, and you also don't go from being stood up to Christmas tree. So it's fast. It is definitely fast. I gotta give you that. I still don't mind Jack and Carrie. I think they're moving fast, but the age difference doesn't bother me. The fact that they're both in a place, and the fact that they're both adults and can make their own decisions kind of makes me want to root for them. The thing was that Carrie acted like she was gonna say no to Jack's proposal that they spend the holidays together in Bora Bora, and then she came back and said yes to him with bonus sex. She gave him a yes plus bonus sex. The only thing I can say that is probably a little weird for me personally about Jack and Carrie is that seeing anybody unbuckling Jack's pants just makes me think, it makes me think a little too hard about what it would be like to have sex with Jack. What do you guys think Jack is like in bed? I mean, it's I don't know if it's something I want to think about, but now I feel compelled. I mean, she's unbuckling his pants. I must think of it. I mean, do you think that Jack is maybe like a Mr. Conservative during the day and then he's a mad dog in the sack? Or do you think that Jack's sex skills are just more of the same? Boring. Oh my, I didn't realize that last week's Who Said It quote was going to be quite as difficult as it was. Apparently not everyone is hanging on Arturo's every word. Who knew? Arturo was trying to convince Abby to take it easy on Mia. Arturo tells Abby that if Mia's happy, then Ray's happy. And if Ray's happy, then Arturo's happy. And then if Arturo's happy, Abby's happy. See, it's a full circle of bliss. And only 3 of you guessed that that was Arturo. So extra congratulations to Jamie, Tina Cole, and Rose. Well done. Maybe this one will be a little easier. Who said this? Maybe unicorns are real. I think that's a nice little idea for Christmas. Christmas unicorns being real. Who do you think said that? Maybe unicorns are real. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your magical shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Oh, I love reading your comments, so let's get into that. First up, Robbie says, I have to admit, I squealed a little bit when Carrie accepted Jack's offer. I think this couple is winning me over. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm all for a surprise vacation. The only criticism I could have is that it's moving fast, but all of the relationships move fast on this show right now. So all other things being equal, I am perfectly fine with Carrie and Jack. Laura says, Dear Carrie, I did a little bit of sleuthing, and Jack's been married 8 times. The year you were born, 1989, he had already been married twice and was a few months away from his 3rd marriage. That being said, I'd consider Smilin' Jack a catch. Mamie would give you her blessing. Ooh, thanks for that research, Laura. That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I mean, Jack's more of a marrying material than a hot, like, Bora Bora sex fest material. But, you know, I would take the vacation to Bora Bora. I would probably say yes, honestly. If Jack was courting me and he asked me to go on vacation with him, as long as I felt that he wasn't a serial killer or something, I think I'd go along with it. Well, he did kill, who was it, Kelly? But he was being held hostage. It doesn't seem like it's quite the same situation, although it was in the tropics, right? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but Ellen says, no, to Jack and Carrie. Run, Carrie! What are you doing with geriatric Jack? If you're going to date a stick in the mud, how about Nate? Or go for the Abbott bad boy, Billy. Please, I beg you. Well, who do we want to see Jack with then, if not Carrie? It seems like I don't know, I always liked Jack and Phyllis, but it seems like that has run its course. Then again, if she can't have Billy, can't have, gosh, yeah, if she can't have Billy and things go apart with Nick, maybe it'll be a Jack, Phyllis, Carrie triangle. Who knows? This show's triangles are so mixed these days. Rose says, I've been one of those people cringing at the 36-year gap between Jack and Carrie. She could easily be Chemo's daughter, which would make her Jack's granddaughter age. And Rose says, I honestly think it got even creepier when he suggested taking someone he barely knew to Bora Bora. That's when you can really feel an age gap, when the wealth and power disparity is used to try to charm the younger person. I think the men should all take some cues from Arturo. He has been so supportive and consistent to Abby these past months, and for her gift, he consulted Lola about something she would like. It's such a good contrast with the over-the-top and hokey nonsense that Jack and Kyle have been getting themselves up to trying to charm the women. Yeah, I mean, yes, Arturo is very sweet. Arturo did consult on that Christmas gift, and I will give him some credit for that. I have to. And yes, the disparity of the wealth and power, I feel that too. This is a very good, smart comment. There's no wrong answers here. Anna says, I like the chemistry between Jack and Carrie. I'm happy they're together, but is it possible that she's married? Because she said her personal life is complicated. Could it be something like that? Or could she have a child? But I'm going for married. That's my prediction for Carrie. Married. Ooh. What if she's married to somebody on the show? Secret marriage to one of our newer characters or something. Or what if she at least had a past relationship? You're right. There's something more to her. She alluded to this complicated past. Yes. Married or a child is a very, very good prediction. I like that. We'll see. Oh, let's talk about Mariah and Tessa. Heather says, I loved getting to hear Tessa sing again. I'm still waiting for Y&R to finally allow Tessa to serenade Mariah, now that they've been a couple in super soap romantic fashion. Also, I'm waiting for them to be allowed a bed scene like Kyle and Lola had today. Yes, you know, I was wondering that too. We did have Mariah and Tessa in the studio apartment. We had the scene of them kind of doing some side-by-side reading in bed, but Y&R has definitely treaded lightly when it's come to showing any type of implication of sex between Mariah and Tessa. Isn't that interesting? We get kisses, but we don't get anything real hot and heavy like we did with the Kyle and Lola makeout scene this week. Oh, let's get some comments going about that poll from last week with Sharon and Mariah and Tessa. Soapy Llama says, I voted that Sharon should back off simply because Mariah is an adult and Sharon has no right to control her life. Mariah has to realize that what she needs to do is on her own. Sharon has gone back to Nick a million times when he hurt her over and over, so I feel it's a bit hypocritical. I just want Sharon and Mariah to keep being BFFs and let this go. Oh, Soapy Llama, yes. Yes, that, you know, that probably sums up a good perspective overall. Sharon really has no room to talk about being with somebody who she shouldn't be with more than once. Not even just Nick. There's plenty of people Nick or Sharon shouldn't have been with. And I agree, the relationship between Mariah and her mother is so important to me that I don't want to lose it. I don't want anything to come in between them. I think we need more Mariah and Sharon and also more Thelma and Louise movie nights. That's my bet. Gary, quoting Sharon here, says, I don't know, ever since Nikki's accident, I've just been afraid that maybe we're all going to get murdered one by one, and I'm sort of afraid to be alone right now, so I'm glad you came over, Mariah, so you could get murdered too. Isn't it funny? Sharon tried very hard to keep her daughter out of that whole mess, and all she is involved. She's knee deep in it now, and she is carrying a pretty big secret that she had no say in. Mariah had no say, no vote in what happened to JT that night, and yet now she has the burden of the secret too. Mary Ann makes a good, interesting flashback of a comment here. Mary Ann says, Nikki and Victoria taunting Tessa reminded me of Jill and Kay with Nina Webster regarding Jill's son Philip and the baby in the late 1980s. Sharon was even a bystander, more like Esther. However, the character of Tessa is nowhere near as multidimensional as Nina, in my opinion. I almost think it's time to give Tessa the keys to the car if she promises to leave Genoa City and never look back. 2 writing regimes have worked overtime on this character for 2 years now. I want to hear more, Marianne, about Nina. This rings a bell for me. I wasn't watching, but it rings a bell for me in terms of my knowledge of the history of the show. Why were they so against Nina and the baby? Somebody chime in and give me a little bit of history there. There's a little piece of research that can be done this upcoming week. I love it. Nina, I kind of miss Nina. Well, let's switch gears into Reed and Nikki here. T. Nicole says, does anyone else not feel the urgency or the critical state of Nikki's condition that we're supposed to be feeling? I don't know if it's just me, but I can't seem to get on board with thinking that this could be the end for Nikki. Yeah, you and me both, T. Nicole. These death scares of major characters who you know are not going to die, it is hard to fully embrace the story when you don't actually feel the peril. But Daisy says, I wonder if Melody Thomas Scott is leaving the show, or maybe there's a contract dispute. I can't think of another reason why Nikki would be unconscious in the hospital. You know, it didn't really even occur to me, honestly. I saw it. I didn't see any casting updates about it. So it didn't occur to me that maybe Nikki might actually be being written off the canvas. I just somehow doubt it. I feel like if Melody Thomas Scott were going to leave the show, they would drag that out. They would make that such a big fanfare. I just can't see them having Reed just like whack her. And especially since we saw the Victor scene, I don't know. To me, it feels a little plot devicey, but you never know. Who knows? They've shocked us before. And also, it's December. I would think if they were going to shock us with something big, wouldn't it be maybe in fall or something? I don't know. Daisy makes a good point, though, that Reed didn't have to drive. He and Charlie could have called someone for a ride. Billy would have been a good choice. Yeah, absolutely. Or they could have called a ride share or something. It's a little ridiculous that they even thought that they needed to do this, and it was a snowstorm. It was totally unnecessary, and again, that's why I feel like it's a plot thing. Probably to usher Victor back onto the scene. Leslie has an idea for a little twist here. Leslie says, I think Shauna's pictures were of her brother. Oh, that's true, right? Charlie's whole reason for being upset and drinking was that he saw Shauna on her social media with this other guy, with some other guy, and it could have been her brother. Wouldn't Charlie feel awful if he finds that out after the fact? Oh no. I mean, did he say for sure that she changed her relationship status or something? I can't remember, but that would be a twist. I also, by the way, did like the scene between Kane and Charlie where Charlie did confess that he'd been drinking to Kane and Kane was so disappointed in him, but Charlie didn't tell Kane the whole truth. Neither of them have. Laura says, Reed's solution to Charlie's broken heart was to go out and party. I kind of wish it was the opposite. The enlightened millennials would teach the stodgy adults the proper way to grieve by working through their pain in a positive way. Not stereotypical, let's go get drunk and pickle your hurty heart inside your toxic liver. Yeah, I know. It is a little bit of a cliche, right? That teens drink. I don't know. It's truth, though, too. Teens do drink and drive. Oh, let's switch gears here. Leslie also says, wow, Y&R gave me an early Christmas present with the Fenn and Lauren duet. I loved it. And Diana says, Fenn sounded pretty good at the recording studio. The lyrics definitely sounded sexy coming out of Fenn's mouth. Fenn is a hottie. I got into Fenn a little bit more this week. I agree. I got into Anna more. I got into Fenn more. Fenn more. Punny. Tanya says, I hate the way Devon acted with Anna. Devon was rude to her. And Leslie says, it seems so out of character for Devon. I know, it did come out of left field, right? I would think that Devon would be appreciative of her. Anna's really done nothing but be supportive of him and has helped him in more ways than one. If she were just an employee that he didn't know, I could maybe see him taking that hard line. An employee going into your studio and trying to further their own career on your dime, I could see being a big problem. But the fact that Devon was so angry with a family member, it doesn't quite make as much sense to me. And the fact that he also emphasized the fact that it's wasting money, wasting his money. He doesn't really have any money to waste, or he has money to waste. So, I don't know, it was just some studio time. Didn't seem like that big of a deal. Well, I also thought it was remarkably dumb of Fen to pressure Devon and to turn down Anna's help. I don't think he's been making very, very smart moves around his career, but it's working out for him. Zuberplex says, it's not very smart messing with the help in a restaurant, Kyle, unless you want some salmonella poisoning with your order. No kidding. But it was funny. The scene where Kyle is taunting Fen a little bit, wanting to make him work for his dollars since Fen is doing his table waiting at the athletic club. Kyle made sure to drop a fork, drop a spoon, and assert his dominance in the one way that he could. This is our reminder that even though Kyle has become a romantic, mushy lead, he is still a little bit of a jerk. And I don't want him to lose that. I don't want Kyle to lose his hard edge, but I also don't want him to get salmonella. Oh, let's talk about the Rosales family. Jamie says, I keep remembering when Mia called Sharon St. Sharon of the Flatiron. Have you noticed that Sharon's hair got a little bit of a makeover? Yes, Jamie, I did. She looked great at the Rosales Christmas party. It was much softer. Earlier in the week, I noticed that it was quite a bit shorter too. I actually think she might have cut that hair a couple weeks ago, and I'm just now actually noticing it. She's stepping it up, but it's funny that they mentioned that about St. Sharon of the Flatiron right before she got her hair done. Thank you. It looks beautiful. Thank you for listening to us chatters and giving Sharon's hair a little bit of oomph. Laura says, maybe next week is when the Mia story will take off. I'm really looking forward to the Sharon, Ray, Mia love triangle because Mia is so unpredictable. I'm wondering about that too. We got the last week, we got the hint that Mia is a person who can really do some damage when she's feeling cornered. And then this week, Mia was very happy and very nice and jovial and hosting her Christmas party. I think all of that is still working up to whatever the bad thing is that she's about to do. And I agree. I hope it's coming soon, maybe next week. Ellen says, I may be the only one, but I feel like I like the whole Rosales family except for Mia. The brothers bring a needed new kind of man to the show. Lola is fabulous, young, funny, self-assured entrepreneur. But Mia so far is obnoxious to me. If she hadn't rolled into town and mowed everyone down, I might care about her tears. Oh, I don't know. I just connected with Mia immediately, but I get that. I mean, she's going to be one of those people that's going to be hard to swallow. I think she's going to be a divisive character. I like those. Kind of reminds me of Hillary. But yeah, I could see being a little irritated with Mia, no doubt. She's a lot to swallow. Let's end here on Justin's comment about Mal Young. Justin says, oh, Christmas came early. Mal Young is out. The Young and the Restless has become way too overly plot-driven. There is no character development. People are leaving the show left and right, and the storylines either drag on too long or have no conclusive end. I don't know that I'm ready to give out a hallelujah about Mal leaving, but I will say I have felt more frustrated about the show within the last couple of months, like the second half of the year. I, as you said, really do strongly feel that we are without character development. It is way too plot driven, and yet at the same time, those plots don't come to an end. They just drag on. I read an article that said that Mal's out, Josh washes in, and it sounded like there was a little bit of drama behind the scenes there, that some of the people felt Mal was in over his head when it came to this job, and just in general that maybe he had some behaviors behind the scene that were not taken very well by the other executives and players. So I'm not sure if it almost does kind of read in a way, looking back at it, that maybe there was some turmoil going on in these last 6 months or so of writing. I can see it. I think Mal has done a lot of really great things in terms of giving us new sets and new characters. There's a lot that can be attributed to his stint, this pretty short stint on Y&R, but I think there are also some areas that need improvement. So maybe a new hand is just what we need. Oh boy, everybody, have I got some baking to do. I'm still making a few sweets for Christmas. I'm doing a cranberry cheesecake bar for Christmas Day dessert. I'm doing a sugar cookie. I have this great sugar cookie recipe. It's chewy. It's not like one of those hard, icky ones. It's a tried and true sugar cookie. It is so good. I love them and they're easy. What else? I'm doing a little snack cracker, like oyster crackers with kind of a dill garlic oil on them. It's really good and tasty. And then, oh, I'm making my mint Oreo popcorn. It is so easy. It's popcorn, white chocolate, and mint Oreos. Crush it all together. It's so good and so bad for you too. But I wanted to give you guys an update. I got so many good ideas for recipes that I could take to my family gathering. I mean, some of them I'm like, I'm gonna make that at another time just for me. Eat it, test it. But I decided that I'm gonna do a little bit of a Christmas guacamole. I know it sounds weird, but I'm gonna make the guacamole, which is green, put some red salsa on top, and pretend it's Christmassy. It'll be easy to whip up. It'll be cold. Everybody loves guacamole, right? I got the color scheme. Like, that's how I'm justifying the fact that I'm just gonna make guacamole, though. But I feel like it's a good dip. Everybody will like it. And I thank everybody for their suggestions, though. I got some good ones. I love to cook. I also love to chat. I hope everybody has enjoyed this. I hope you go to GenoaCitySoap.com, check out the 2018 Y&R Chat Year-End Affair Fundraiser. You want it. I'm very surprised, though, that I think we're going to get 5 episodes this week. I read that Y&R is, because of the preemptions, just going to go ahead and air new episodes all next week, so we won't have any downtime there, but I'm sure we will on New Year's. So I got 3 hours of a video and or a podcast for you at GenoaCitySoap.com, and I've got a YRChat.com if you want to leave your comments about the show, all of the upcoming drama. It's always wonderful to hear from you, and I hope you all have a very, very Merry Christmas. Bye.